Love it.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see
Oh,
everybody's face.
it's been too long.
I
Yeah.
wore lipstick for the occasion.
Me too.
So
Perfect.
tonight, our exciting part is always at the very beginning. We have Student of the Month, and Dr. Bear, you're going to take that, right?
Yeah, as Ms. King said, welcome. Our favorite time of the night is celebrating our young people, and here are also things going on in our buildings. So what we would like to do is have our building principals come up. They'll read a little bit about their school and talk about their Student of the Month. Then we'd like to do pictures afterwards. So please stick around and get pictures, and we'll start with a whole group picture. And then we'll go ahead and take pictures with the principal, with your family, because we want to make sure that we celebrate you and have it for history's sake, as 40 years ago you could be talking about Student of the Month. So, congratulations to all of you, and thank you for coming tonight. And we're going to start at the top tonight with Mr. Carr for your high school.
Good evening, everyone. Just a handful of things to get to our update in terms of high school. Last week, essentially, the high school, for the very first time, we administered the state-mandated SAT exam. Ms. Mara administered that with our juniors. Essentially, that's the exam that replaced I-STEP. So it was online. So essentially, we had to split up our kids. So, different. I believe they're routers. Tim maybe could correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not the thing. Could handle different amounts of kids, but overall went really well. Ms. Mara did a great job. No shock to anyone. Our kids did absolutely amazing. Super patient. We couldn't be any more proud of our juniors for engaging in that. We are approaching the end of the grading period, and so the kind of cool thing about our grading period, the way it's ending now, is we'll hold credit rescue next week, so attempting to give those kids an opportunity to rescue some credits who just kind of fell short. And we're excited because normally our credit rescue happens the first week of break, and so it's going to happen this year while we are still in school. So we're hoping that we'll get access to more kids will stay after. So we're really optimistic that that'll grow. I engaged with our department chairs today. We are going to be looking to move towards working with a company called Horizon and looking at implementing next school year 3 PSAT benchmarks that will provide a lot more ongoing data where we can progress monitor kids and really get them ready for what they're all going to have to take, which is that junior SAT exam. Some student celebrations. Obviously, no surprise, our boys basketball team 4 sectionals in a row, which is great. We're lucky enough to have a couple of our managers in-house, which is awesome today. So we are definitely wishing them luck. We will have a Friday kind of champions type walk at the high school at the end of the day as the boys get on a bus and head out to Greencastle. So we're really looking forward to all the kids coming out of classrooms and supporting our basketball players. Our JRTC, the missing flag, I'm assuming it is currently, there is the NCAA Horizon League is going on, and our kids are
State fairground and
yeah,
the Coliseum.
currently presenting colors for that event, which is really cool. I believe Eileen got a text that said,
Beech Grove's in the house.
perfect.
Nice.
So we're really excited
So
for them and grateful for JRTC and what those two guys have really just put into the high school, and they are just complete kid magnets, so we are really appreciative of what they do. Most importantly is our Student of the Month, and our Student of the Month this month is Brody Pettis, and I want to read what Brody's teacher wrote about Brody. Come on up, Brody. And Brody informed me that he was Student of the Month in 2nd grade. Brody's a graduating senior of the high school, and we couldn't be any more proud of Brody and what he does in the school, out of the school, at different events, helping with the basketball team. And his teacher wrote, Brody is always there for his fellow classmates. He always makes sure that they are part of a group whether it be academic or social activities. Brody is a senior with driving privileges and is allowed to go out for lunch. However, if Brody knows that there is a classmate that does not have someone to sit with, he will sit and eat lunch with them. He will stay back anytime he feels he's needed. He's also taken another classmate under his wing and has gotten him to come out of his shell and become involved with school activities. He also picks him up outside of school, takes him to different social events. He's a very caring and kind student to his fellow classmates. So, Brody, that's yours, buddy. There you go. Cool. Thanks, man. Good job.
Would you mind if I make a statement?
Not at all.
So as you said, Brody got Student of the Month when the first year he was at Beech Grove. And he also got Student of the Year that year. But for everybody that knows Brody, that doesn't know me, I'm his father. I'm Bruce. But for everybody that does know me, I've been a single father for several years, raising him and his two brothers. And that's, whenever I speak about the boys, that's what I say. I'm a single father. I raised the boys by myself. But technically, that's not true, because the school system, everybody that was involved with Brody has helped me raise him, has helped me raise my son, Bryce, who graduated 2 years ago. And my younger son, Brayton, is a sophomore here at Beech Grove. And I can't be more prouder of being a part of this community and this school system. I would thank everybody that's always been involved with me and my boys and helping me. They are good men, and this one here is a diamond. I mean, he's one of the most gentle, kindest persons that you'll ever meet. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me raise my boys.
Good job to you, Bruce.
Thank you.
So I think you guys can tell why we love this moment in our, it's great to see these young people. And Mr. Morgan is going to be talking about Beech Grove Middle School. So.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce, because Brody is an awesome young man. We really miss him at the middle school, but love hearing his updates. So he will update us probably monthly. So it's always good to hear from Brody, so appreciate that. For the middle school today, Jacob Ryan is our Student of the Month. He is not with us today, not feeling well, so I did send you guys a video with an update on that, and as well as a building update. So I thought that I might take this time to kind of pitch an idea to you guys. So I have had a lot of kids email me, come up to me during lunch this year about having a school dance. And Mr. Gearhart taught me well, told me to use the strategy of delay. And I delayed and I delayed and I delayed, but they continued to come and come and come and come. So I gave in, and we are going to hold a dance on April 30th. So I wanted you guys to mark your calendars and see if there's anyone brave enough. Mr. Gearhart already signed up. Dr. Baer did as well, so no pressure on that. But from 6 to 8, we'll host on April 30th. And again, if you'd like to come, the last one that we held was a good time. Kids enjoyed it and did a really nice job with that.
It's a Saturday, right?
I'm sorry?
A Saturday?
That is a Saturday, yes.
Cool.
So Mrs. Sutton, all of you that know Mrs. Sutton and all the wonderful things she does a great job with the planning for this. So it will be a good event for our kids and something that they are looking forward to. So thought I would take this time to pitch it now. So
I did about pull a hamstring at the last middle school dance. I was out there cutting the rug. Slipped, yeah.
So no pressure then. Dance off between you
The
and Mr.
dance off,
Gearhart.
I'm feeling it.
Free snacks. Show up, yeah.
No, but other than that, I did send you, we are in preparation mode for our iLearn that's going to be coming up here in April. So Ellen Collinsworth, our special education department, language arts department, math department have been really working hard on prepping for that. So kind of a slower time athletically right now. We're down to kind of 2 sports left for us, but gearing right back up for our spring season. And we did have really good numbers come out for our softball program right now. So we're on the up and up there. I think 33 kids tried out for the softball team.
That's
so
fantastic.
it's really
Great
good.
news.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morgan. Mrs. Fleming from South Grove Intermediate.
Good evening. As you know, South Grove has completed our 50-day kindness challenge. This challenge began on Martin Luther King Jr. Day and was formally concluded this past Monday with an all-school celebration. Students and adults were encouraged to demonstrate at least one act of kindness each day, with a goal of every adult and child completing at least 50 acts in the 50 days, and a large number did. I still don't have the total percentage, but we'll get that to you. I'd like to share with you just a couple of exceptional acts that really stood out and demonstrated the power of our young people. Bailey Longrich, a 4th grader in Mrs. Norton's class, had the wonderful idea of cleaning up the playground. She knew that it would be good for our student body, but also good for the earth. She invited classmates to get involved, and they did. On more than one occasion, the following students spent most or all of their recess cleaning up trash around the playground. Bailey, along with Delilah Cook, Kobe Person, Hunter Langley, Aubrey Ritter, Channing Henderson, Serenity Arisman, Samuel Jones, Ben Powell, Annie Hammer, Nariah Davis, and these were all 4th graders. All of this was completely unprompted by any adult, but instead generated by a peer who knew that even at 9 years old, they can be the change they wish to see in the world. Another thing that occurred, as some of you may know, we've had a little bit of issue following the TikTok challenge of bathroom vandalism, and have been working to take great pride in our school. And one of our 6th graders stepped up, Sam Sargent, and has offered to spend her recess times going in and helping pick up the restrooms. And that then has led to a little bit of a domino effect. We're hoping even a little bit more quickly. But she's taken that on herself. So just a couple of examples of students really owning this kindness challenge. During our celebration, the entire school recited the kindness pledge and even learned some sign language as we did it together. Speaking of kindness, we now have our Kindness Influencers Club at South Grove. They meet weekly on Tuesday mornings during community meeting, and there are 18 members who have stepped up to be leaders in this way. So these are students who are really looking for ways that they can not only take charge and show responsibility in action, but also to encourage others and empower others to do the same. I've mentioned attendance being a big focus for us, just making sure that our students come to school every day. And we're happy to say that Ms. Hodge and her 5th graders finally earned a pizza party. So they ended up getting all the gnome parts for February. So we're now working on building some leprechauns for March and hoping for more good times ahead for our students. After-school clubs has also been a big feature for us this year as we try to provide that those holistic opportunities for our students beyond the school day. In addition to our South Grove Band and Choir performing in the spring concert on Wednesday, March 16th, we want to thank our teachers and coaches, Bridget Young, Krista Umbenhauer, and Brianna Michels, who are hosting our Girls on the Run program. 14 participants this spring. And finally, we have another after-school club that's been going all year, which is STEM for Girls. And on April 11th through the 13th, Veronica Justice and Jillian Dale, along with our STEM squad, will be heading off to Martinsville, Indiana for the outdoor education experience at Bradford Woods. This includes 25 girls, so it's really exciting to see our students getting involved beyond the school day. Many of you contributed to the fundraiser at Chipotle for us there on Emerson Avenue last month, and we've raised $140 there. But we're also very excited to say that the church that has been utilizing our space for some time now, Crossway Community Church of the Nazarene, wanted to give an extra donation. They are actually moving, and their pastor is moving to Kentucky, so they will no longer be renting our space. But I'm glad Tanya's here, because Pastor Mark was so complimentary of you and your great leadership, and he ended up giving us a gift of $1,500 to put towards students. So that was really exciting. As far as other great things happening with professional development at South Grove, we've taken a deep dive into types of thinking and depths of knowledge. And for the next few weeks of our professional development, every grade level will be developing an end-of-year inquiry unit of study that integrates all content areas. And then we will have a showcase on May 20th. So we hope that you'll be able to join us on that day. We may have some finished products, but it's really about the process and students being able to explain what they learned and where they would go next with their inquiry. At this time, I would like to introduce our very own Student of the Month, Miss Janiyah McKnight. Please come forward. Janiyah is a fourth grader here at South Grove, and this is what her teachers have to say about her. Janiyah always chooses to do the right thing in every single classroom. She is ready to learn, willing to participate, and always offering a helping hand to her classmates and teachers. She is always prepared for class and takes initiative to read the directions on the board, knowing what is expected before the day begins. When working with others, she is accepting and collaborative. She is truly a model student. She works hard for her grades and is such a pleasure to have in class. That's Janiyah McKnight. Now, here's the other thing you need to know about Janiyah that I just learned, and that is that her family is moving to Georgia. So we hope you have fun in Georgia. You can tell them bye now, or you can tell them bye later. Which would you prefer? You're staying with us. I'm just kidding. They'll take. They get to take you. Thank you for sharing her with us.
Thank you, Mrs. Fleming. Next from Central Elementary is the Assistant Principal, Mr. Von Dilligan.
Good evening. My name is Clay Von Dilligan, Assistant Principal at Central Elementary. It's my first year there. However, I have been part of Beech Grove Community Schools since 2005, proudly. I'd like to start off with a classroom update. We have Miss Kayla O'Brien, who is a student teacher with Miss Romo. We had an opening unexpectedly that Miss O'Brien is now filling in third grade, and we're extremely happy to have her on board. Last week was Read Across America. We had Mr. Pfeiffer from the middle school come over, read to some classrooms. Kids got a real kick out of that. Had great participation with Spirit Days, teacher and student. We kicked off our spring fundraiser March 1st, and we'll continue to March 15th. The hot item is chocolate bunnies. And they will be here in time for Easter, so all the kids are really excited about that. We enter the last 9 weeks of school next week. Families can expect report cards March 18th. Principal Cotter and I continue to try to promote attendance in our building. At the end of each month, we walk around to each classroom, hand out treats, awards, whatever we can find that we think kids will get excited about, and remind kids that the next day will be the first day that they can then start their perfect attendance journey. So we continue to try to work toward that. The big thing in our building right now is iRead, which went off today, knock on wood, without a hitch, hopefully tomorrow as well. Second graders now have the opportunity to test. Any second grader that passes will not be required to take it in third grade. We look forward to getting our data back and being able to use that to drive early intervention for our second graders moving into third grade. Third graders that do not pass will be required to attend our iRead boot camp this summer and be able to retest. We receive results generally in April, share with the families as soon as they're available, and we want to thank our teachers who have worked diligently to prepare our students. We'd like to also thank our students for their best effort and their families for getting these kiddos on school every day on time. That is the update from Central, and the great news is our student of the month will have a longer session than what I had for the building update. So Mr. Easton, come on up, bud. So Easton here is nominated for Student of the Month by Miss O'Brien, Miss Majors. Couple of things, and we've got a laundry list here of positives. Has a great heart, kind, willing to lend a helping hand, consistently gives his best effort. Miss Hines, who was his teacher last year, Easton, always respectful and responsible, always willing to help new students that came into our room and make friends. Every time I see him, he greets me, gives me a hug. I'm proud that he is Central's Student of the Month. Miss Nolaner, Easton is a sweet young man who is always willing to be helpful to his peers. I see him at Buzz Club, and he's always willing to share a story or two about the amazing things he does. Easton is an exceptional mathematician, athlete, and classmate. He is constantly one of the first students to turn in his homework. He participates often and is a wizard with his math facts. When students need help with a problem, Easton goes out of his way to help others. Easton has a kind and caring heart and is a role model student. I look forward to seeing his growth for the rest of the school year and couldn't be more proud that he was chosen for this honor. Congratulations, Easton. Love, Miss Majors. Miss Pfeiffer said that Easton is a wonderful student, always willing to lend a hand, and is a great peer model. Easton exuberates confidence and maturity in everyday routines. We're lucky to have him at Central and look forward to seeing what amazing things this young man does in the future. From Miss Winkleseth, Easton exemplifies our values of respect and responsibility at Central Elementary every single day. He's kind and helpful and always brings a smile to those around him. And finally, last but not least, Easton from Miss Cotter wanted me to share some kind words. She said, "You're an exceptional young man. It has been a pleasure to watch you grow from a shy second grader into a confident third grader that is ready to take on the world. You continuously model good behavior for others, have a positive attitude, encouraging to your classmates, eager to participate in our school community. We will absolutely miss having you at Central next year." As you can see why Easton is one exceptional young man. Congratulations.
I know Mr. Von Dilligan is extremely happy with the map.
Absolutely.
Yes, so
Couldn't be better.
thank you, Mr. B.
Yep.
Our last tonight, and not the least, but reminder, right afterwards, we'll get pictures taken, group photo, and then some photos, and Mrs. Stevens will lead that. So please don't rush out, stick around and get those photos taken. So, Mrs. Reed?
Hi, Tanya Reed here, representing Hornet Park. I'm here for Mrs. Probus, who is home with her family as they leave for Texas tomorrow. She wanted the night to be with her family. So she's like, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I'm used to this. I love it." So a few things about Hornet Park. The Early Childhood Center. Have you seen the billboard? Yeah, it's up. The billboard is up. The website is up and running. The registration packets are put together. They are sitting in the front office. People are coming in daily to pick up the registration packets, and we're taking registrations to open up our early childhood center this fall. Well, earlier, end of summer, right? Yes. So we have had 78 website inquiries. Yeah, which fills the place, right? We're working on our paths to quality, which we should know more about that by the end of this school year. And what Paths to Quality does is it opens up funding opportunities for families so that they can get their kids into the preschool. We welcomed Kathy Commodore to Hornet Park this week. We're so excited to have her. She is learning everything early childhood center that she can learn. She's going to be a great resource for our parents and our families as they're bringing their children to the early childhood center. And we couldn't be happier to have her laughing in the office with the rest of us as we do life with 5- and 6-year-olds every day. We have toured the new facility a couple of times, Aaron and I have, with the maintenance crew, my husband, and also the construction people. And I hear that you guys are all going to get a tour real soon. We've got a real cute little pink hard hat you can borrow. It's going to be absolutely lovely. There's like more space than what we know to do with, but I'm like, don't worry, we'll fill every nook and cranny of that space in no time. The preschool rooms are going to be amazing. And it just makes me so happy that we're going to be able to offer this to the families of Beech Grove, that their kids will be there early and we'll be able to work with them and get to know them so that by the time they're ready to go to kindergarten, they're ready to go to kindergarten. So it's very exciting. So thank you all for the efforts that you've given to our early childhood center. We couldn't be happier. And we'll hope to see you over there very soon. I think they want to get some more drywall up and clean up a little bit more before they bring you guys through. So pretty cool. Also, Virtual Kindergarten Roundup has been launched. We launched it virtually because COVID was still going on and we weren't sure what the protocols and the procedures were going to be. So we just released it virtually. And also, the building is all construction right now. And so bringing people in and out is not an easy task because we don't have a whole lot of parking. So we just launched it virtually. But we will make sure that when kindergarten is ready to go, and families want tours, when we can give tours, we will absolutely do that. We will open the doors and we will bring everybody in to see Hornet Park once it is ready to be seen. You can come over now, but it's hard to get in because we only have the one entrance and it's just tricky. So we want to make it grand for the families that are coming to bring their kindergartners there. So getting calls on that every day as well. In fact, I just got one today. Mom wants to register. I don't know how it got to me, but I handed it off to Angela English, and I said, give them a call back. Come on in. So we will get all of that later in July once we can get back in the building, because the building is going to be off limits all summer long. So we'll welcome the families then. And our little gal, Emmeline Atunas Reyes, is not here tonight. But I wanted to thank Ethan Martin. If you guys don't know Ethan Martin, Beech Grove graduate. He is our English language learner teacher. And just has come in this year to replace Anna Copenhaver, who was outstanding, and he is just as outstanding. Like, we're just thrilled to have him. He reached out to the family. I talked to his sister today, and she's not here, so I'm sorry, but trust me, sweet little bug. Ethan was going to do the translation for the family, so I will make sure that he does that as well. So, did you want to say anything? Say it in Spanish, come on.
Buenas tardes, damas y caballeros. No. I just wanted to take this opportunity that it wasn't long ago that I was here as a student myself. I graduated from Beech Grove High School and kind of came up in a rough family, a rough environment sometimes, and Beech Grove also played an integral part in my growing up and being raised. And it's a privilege to be here with everybody, and it's in my short 23 years of life, many I'm here amongst many teachers who are my teachers and principals, and it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. Thank you very much.
Ethan could be my student of the month. Oh, I had tears tonight. So I will take this to Emmeline, and we will celebrate her at Hornet Park. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so my 3 student of us that are here, if you'll come over by the Hornet, I'll take the group photo first, and then I'm going to do it with your principal, and then the families. You can come over, and we'll take a picture of you all together, okay? right, we need to get started. So now we have to put things back together. Dr. Bear, can we have the curriculum update, please?
Yes, a lot of things happening in curriculum. First one is kind of our instructional process, and that's our TSL grant. And Dr. Hammock has given me the keys to the car, and I'm taking 15 other humans down to Dallas tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be there until Saturday morning. And we'll be at the NIET National Convention. And Dr. Hammock will know, Mr. Gearhart, myself have been blessed to go, and it is just a very motivational, inspiring, team-building process where we bond with our instructional coaches. So our new instructional coaches are going. There's 7 of them. Our principals are going. And then Mrs. Bass is going, Mrs. Story, and then Miss Herman from the high school, the Beech Grove CTA president. So just a great group of people, and we're going to do a lot of learning, bonding, eating, and just enjoying a time in Dallas. And the weather's supposed to be halfway decent at least one day. Of course, I checked, to see if I'm supposed to bring my capri suit or my, so just determine what clothes to take. But I got to go home tonight and pack that. But with that being said, we're just really excited to do that. And as the notes indicate, it is perfect time because we just finished our needs assessments. So NIET came in and went through each of our buildings about 2 weeks ago and assessed our buildings. And there was one kind of resounding theme. First thing was that they thought that our staff and our administrators were incredible. Just very positive feedback. Kind of the reinforcement that we came with, it was like student work and how to get student ownership of their work. Kids really buying into strategies that cause them to apply what they've learned and really be able to do things because they like it and love learning. And so that's kind of the whole school refinement that we will be working on as we move into that process this spring, summer, and eventually kick it off officially this fall with all of our new instructional coaches in place. So we're very excited about that because we've already got, I think there were 3 sessions at the convention that revolved around student work and the ownership of that work. And so we're excited about that, to have those conversations as a group and learn together and build our team together. So very exciting, and we're appreciate Dr. Hammock trusting me with the team. So.
And surprised, actually.
Yes. Don't tell anybody there. Next thing is WIDA testing. We just finished WIDA testing, and Ethan was a big part of that at Hornet Park. I got all the books and all the secured materials sent back in. We should be getting results back later this spring. And that's the same way with iRead 3. That started today, and our final day is tomorrow. And then we'll have makeups. And those results usually come back April, May. And so just like I did with the iRead 3 from last year, I will have a meeting with the testing information probably in August or September, where I'll spend considerable time providing you with the results of our district with iLearn, iRead 3, and the WIDA, and how that compares to our Central Indiana friends. And we're hoping that we see positive growth like we did with iRead 3 last year, and we're hoping that carries over because of all the hard work of our staff and our kids each day. So just want to remind you that we will have a nice curriculum day meeting this fall where we celebrate some of those things, and you can kind of see where we fall with all of the Central Indiana schools. So those are the things that are happening, and like I said, our team's pretty excited as we kind of kick off TAP with a big trip tomorrow. So
Thank you. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
trip.
yeah, thank you very much.
Melody, we'll have some updates for you tonight. I put lots of links on here. If you can see, Dr. Hammock, then she stated the state of the schools at the Greater Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce. It was very good. She did us very proud and really highlighted us well. So it was really a great thing. Missy Keeley was on Channel 13 talking about her Donors Choose project, and that was also great. And I've been trying to check almost daily at Donors Choose to see how it's going. And they're getting things. They had another foundation that actually kicked in to match every gift over the last week, so that was really encouraging. I'm working on the website, which is a continual work in progress, because there's always something to change on it. I've been busy this week trying to change all of the mask pictures on the website to unmask pictures. So that's been a lot. So I've been begging for some pictures or go to taking them. So that's going to be exciting. As you see that, and mentioned earlier, Mrs. Purvis did a great job making sure everything that she wanted on the HPECC website, and it's gorgeous. If you notice, we put a few extra different colors on there than orange or black, and we're going to try to incorporate that into the rest of our web pages too. So I think it'll be a little bit different. We're not going away from orange and black, I promise you. We're not going to get rid of the Hornet, but we are trying to look at some complementary colors that will go with that too, brighten it up a little bit. Recruitment card for the early childhood, did you all get that at your home this week?
did.
Okay, great. They told me it hit the post office, so I just wanted to make sure that you got it. So I put a picture in here in the packet also in case you hadn't received it yet. But I think, it's garnering a lot of interest, and I think that's a good recruitment. So I'm also going to be doing 2 recruitment pieces. Dr. Hammond has asked me to do a postcard and then a short newsletter. One will go out in April, one will go out in May. One will be targeted for students outside of the district, and the other one will be both out of district and getting our Beech Grove people back on board at Beech Grove City Schools. So I'm working on that too. For the Education Foundation, again, just review teacher grants, our district art show. I hope you got this. Don't forget to get that on your calendar because it's going to be spectacular this year. Really exciting. And again, I'm still working on our annual tax return with our accountants and all the ongoing tasks. So a little update, and that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes for February?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for February.
Beth, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And claims, can we get a motion for that, please? All make a motion. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Great.
I don't think anyone has,
Okay, okay.
nobody signed up for public comment.
No, okay. So Dr. Hammack, superintendent update.
Right, well, before I go into the action items that I will be asking for your approval this evening, I just wanted to pause and just take note of a couple of things. First off, we are thrilled that Julie Smith is joining us at the table tonight. Julie is our new business manager. She started, gosh, Julie, I guess just last week, middle of the week, and it's amazing how much has already been sort of taking place. She is so smart and is not happy until things are right, and she's digging in right now, and she's going to get us all squared away here so soon. Really grateful that Bob Harris is here as well tonight, and Bob's been helping us with this transition. There's been some nice training that happened last week for Steph. Bless her heart when I came in tonight. Steph is knee-deep in accounts payable now, and she is just up for the task, which is fantastic, and I'm sure she's going to have this done in her typical efficient way before we know it. So we're all in kind of a learning mode right now as we become the new us, which is very, very exciting. I'd also like to take the time to introduce you all who hadn't had the ability to do that before we got started. We have 2 guests in our audience tonight, and I'll be asking for your approval of these 2 guests to join our team. Mitzi Garman is in orange. We're in her Beech Grove already.
Proudly.
Perfectly dressed. She loved that we had an online store.
Yeah.
Mitzi, I will be making the recommendation that Mitzi will be our new Director of Communications and Community Engagement. And thrilled that now that we have the Melody Mitzi introduction happening, that great things will happen during this transition. So we hate that we can't have her until June the 1st, but we wanted her to be able to finish strong at her current school district, and can't wait for her to be started in June. And then Mr. Brian Garman. Brian will also be starting in June. Brian will be transitioning from middle school principal to now the director of personnel, if you all are so inclined. And he will be giving the personnel report once June happens instead of me, which is what I'm super excited about. Truly two wonderful people who are going to add just great value to our organization. And you'll like them as much as you'll be proud of the work that they do. So they are just going to be great additions to our team. So Julie, Mitzi, Brian, I promise no one else needs to worry about what's happening over the next year or so. But we're just thrilled to have you all this evening, and I sure hope that the board votes to approve you all on our team tonight. So just wanted to just kind of pause and make that point, and then we will get into our action items here. This first motion that I'm asking for your approval, this sounds weird that we need to have you do this. It is truly just a formality so that we can have the bank set up a separate account for the Hornet Park Early Childhood Center. So all that we are asking for here is that they need documentation that the official title of the center is what it is. So it's the Hornet Park Early Childhood Center. It'll be serving students aged 3, 4, and 5, and it will be located at the address that is Hornet Park, and we will begin accepting students in August 2022. So we just ask for your approval of the same.
So could we get a motion to approve the official title?
She was working on it.
Sorry, Beth.
You want me to do it?
Beth was working on it.
Who's working on it?
She was talking to you.
I'm sorry, did you already say it? I did. Thank you. Dear God, I'm lost in thought somewhere. No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think we have anybody opposed. Do you want to talk about the second one?
Yeah, and that is just, we just updated our school calendar to include dates that are applicable to the Hornet Park Early Childhood Center, which just needs your approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the calendar. And I'll second.
Gosh, thanks. I heard that one. Can I have approval from all of you?
Aye.
No one's opposed.
Modifications to the administrative.
You guys are worried about me now, aren't you?
I'll second it.
Just keeping you straight.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Want to keep
So
going?
good.
Do you need to talk about the?
No, nothing special. I just wanted to make note of those new folks that we're excited to
Could
have
we
as
get a
part of the
motion
team.
to?
I'll make a motion again to approve the employment salary recommendation.
Thank you, Rick.
I'll second.
Who's second? Kim? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank God that's over.
For a while, we could take a break for a while.
I took a brain break. Can we get an operations update?
I think
We have a special guest first.
We do?
Yes.
in our superintendent's report.
Oh, we do?
Yes, very excited.
I'm so sorry, Mayor Buckley. I didn't highlight him on my paper.
Ready?
Yes, we're ready. Thank you, Mayor, for being here tonight.
No problem. Good to be here, actually. Here, all board members. I'll pass it.
Mayor, do you want me to hold those up while you're talking?
They're going to get the same thing that's on
Okay,
here.
okay.
Anybody in the audience wants to look?
Anna, you're so good.
If I got a couple minutes, I think what I wanted to do to start with is to go back to 2012, when I first became mayor, and talk about the relationship between the city of Beech Grove and the school district. I had a very good relationship with Dr. Kaiser, and we did many things together that I don't think you know about. The first big project that we did, and we just never discussed it, we just did it, was, if you look on your picture, the roundabout out in front of the school, there you'll see a line going through there. That was a program called Safe Routes to School. It was funded by the Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO. And we put sidewalks in at the high school all the way out to Churchman Avenue. We also did it at the middle school, where the softball diamonds are. And we did it at South Grove, where you cross, where the lights that you cross, we added sidewalks there, and in front of the Little League, and then down on Redford and 9th. So that was the first big program. I didn't come to the school board, or I didn't come to Dr. Kaiser and ask for any money. We just wanted to do it, and we did it. So the next project that we did that helped this facility was out on Churchman Avenue. The MPO once again funded sidewalks out on Churchman Avenue, all the way almost to Arlington Avenue. And they specifically did it for the apartments across the street, so those kids would not walk on Churchman Avenue. So that was another project, board, that we didn't come and ask for any funds. We just did it. And then Dr. Kaiser wanted to extend the Butler Avenue to relieve a bottleneck. So we worked together and we did that. And I think the city even contributed close to $50,000 to do that project, which was, yeah, no problem. You know, it makes it better. So then we never talked about the trail. And, you know, tonight I want to talk to you about the trail. You may ask, well, how come we're just now hearing about this trail? Why didn't we hear about this trail 3 or 4 years ago? We started talking about the Franciscan Trail, and we had to give a grant back because we couldn't meet our match. The city was not doing well. So we reapplied, and once we got financially sound and we got the grant. And that was probably, board, that was probably 5 or 6 years ago we knew that we were going to get this grant. The MPO gave us $2.6 million to build this trail. That's when Dr. Kaiser and I started talking about Phase 2. And we didn't come to the board to ask for funding for Phase 2 because we didn't know we would get the Phase 2 grant. So there's no sense coming to you because it would be a waste of your time. We applied for this grant twice and got turned down. Very competitive. And we applied again for it last fall, and we got the award probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Dr. Hammock, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was for $1.9 million. Then we started talking about it because we could actually make an attempt to do this. So besides Crossroad Engineers, who's going to design it, Dr. Hammock was the first person that I reached out to as superintendent of schools. The second one, guess who the second one was? Person I reached out to and called, Dr. Kaiser. Because we talked about this 5 years ago. We just kept it to ourselves because you know, there's no sense in coming to the board when you don't have any money. So anyway, you have the unique opportunity to do something that no other school district in Marion County has, and that is to have a trail going through your school. It's not going to go through your school, it's going to go on the outskirts if you wanted to. We originally talked about taking it along the football field, and they said, no. It's not going to work. Okay. A couple of years ago when we did the last referendum, which the city supported, they wanted to build a softball field out on Adelaide and Butler, and we were all for that. Sure. It had to be rezoned because remember the house that sat there? It was torn down, and well, the zoning had to change. So we approached the zoning board, and the zoning changed, but they had to put sidewalks in. So if you allow this project to go forward, that takes care of that commitment. Recently, you folks purchased a property over on the other side of the football field. It was a good move. I would have done the same thing. It was a good investment. If you change the zoning on that property for soccer fields or bus barns or whatever is good for the school, chances are you're going to have to change the zoning, which is going to require you to have sidewalks. So that solves this issue as well. So we redid, about 4 years ago, we redid Adelaide out on the other side of the football or softball field. We did a new technique on the road. It's called full depth reclamation. And it was done because now that road is capable of holding large trucks. So if you decide to put buses out there, that road will easily handle that weight. So again, we're working this out. We're thinking about these things. And then Dr. Kaiser moves on, and Dr. Hammock comes and is your superintendent. Then, as the referendum passes, and now you're investing in the future of the school district, she and a few others approached the city about getting an easement out along the tennis courts. So we could have said no, but why? We support what you're doing. So that was very easily done, you know, but I got to tell you something, and you probably don't know this. Dr. Hammock knows it, but there is a very convoluted agreement between the city of Beech Grove City Schools, and the city of Indianapolis for the property over there. The best thing that for all involved is to get out of that agreement. That agreement was done long before all of us. So many, many years ago, Paul and I talked about early childhood development, and we were a staunch supporter of it. So when the opportunity come, we wanted it to go through. So Laura led the charge, but we didn't have a willing partner. The city of Indianapolis was adamantly opposed to this because that was a park plan. It's used for parks. Okay, that was back in the 90s, early 90s. And I got to tell you, board, if it wasn't for the city of Beech Grove, that building would not be built. It's that simple. Because our friends to the north were adamantly opposed to it. And I want you to know that, because we went to bat, and it was difficult. Dr. Hammock can testify. This was not an easy thing that was done. But at the end of the day, they relented. And I doubt the only way in the future that the school district and the city could ever do anything else over there, it would be if we bought them out. That's just my opinion. It was that tough of a fight. But anyway, it's over. But tonight, I'm asking you to consider approving this. I'm not here to ask you to fund this at all. I'm just asking you at another meeting to approve this project. It's not a Beech Grove project. It's an NDOT project. the current trail that we have now is not a Beech Grove project. It's controlled 100% by NDOT. I don't know if you've been on the trail. I like it. And you can have the same thing right here. I've had more than one meeting with Dr. Manuel at U of I. He wants the trail to come through his campus. Same way with the folks at Roncalli High School and Southport High School. You will have the only trail in on the south side of Indianapolis, south of Raymond Street. There's no other trail. So I'm open for any questions. I ask that you give this consideration. I think this will enhance your school. Yeah, Rob?
Did you say, I was reading, did you say that by doing the trail, that takes our obligation of making a recreational area out of that space that we?
No. The only thing I'm saying is,
Oh, I thought you said, okay.
if you,
Because we still have to do some type of a recreational area with that space that belongs to the city of Indianapolis, right?
yeah, but, well, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Are you referring to the zoning, Dr. Hammock?
Right, so the question, when we took that green space over, right, that was the soccer field, and have made it a parking space, we needed to replicate that space somewhere else, so that there was green space.
Oh, we could do that with a trail. We had the same issue with the Little League Diamonds. If you pass the Little League Diamonds and you see the cell towers that are up there, okay, that takes, according to the DNR and other groups, that takes away from the park. So you have to dedicate more area to the park. Okay. If this is the same situation, we could do it with a trail. It's not a big issue.
Great.
It's not a big issue. But if you have questions, the trail is, you know, Rob at a previous meeting brought up a concern about kids crossing Emerson Avenue. Legitimate point, I get it. So we moved the trail. The trail's no longer right there. It's further east where the woods are. On your map, you'll see a little circle. That's a trailhead where the trail starts. And it goes through the woods, comes out behind Hornet Park Elementary, crosses, goes up Butler, crosses Adelaide, stays on the north side of Adelaide, all the way down to the end of the property, heads back north, ties into the woods of Beech Grove, and then goes behind the high school.
Rob, can I clarify? I think what he was alluding to was along Adelaide.
Right.
We need to put in a
Still have to
sidewalk.
create a space.
We have to put in a sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
And-
We talked about that at the RDC
Right.
meeting. We were going to be
And
spending,
this takes care of that.
what, $80,000 or something for sidewalk there anyway.
That takes care of that.
But I didn't know if the recreational use,
Right.
we could use as a loophole for what we're obligated to do for Indianapolis for what we did with the Early Childhood Center.
And the trail in of itself.
Yeah, the
Meets
trail,
that
the trail itself would suffice the park,
And not.
you know, what we need.
And then you go back behind the baseball field, and then you come back behind the school, and what you'll do is you'll take an area that might seem unattractive, and it will be absolutely beautiful when you walk through there and put the fencing up and all of that. So, and then it ties into the sidewalk out here to Churchman Avenue. So the MPO, for whatever reason, has been very good to the city of Beech Grove, and they have been very good to Beech Grove City Schools, and they have no tie to Beech Grove City Schools, other than the fact that they like the partnership between city government and schools. And I think that's what drives this. They were a big advocate of the current trail that we have because of the public-private relationship between Franciscan Alliance in the city of Beech Grove. So the project is started. They fast-tracked the project. It goes, it begins construction. I will not be the mayor in 2024, but the project will start in 2024. So I look forward to it. I plan on walking it when it's done, and I would certainly encourage this board to approve it. And I'm going to reiterate it again. You know, you can not approve it. You can approve it and contribute to it, or you can approve it and say, we don't have the funding for it, but we approve this project. Just let me know. So, any questions?
I think regardless, I mean, we're on the hook for $80,000, at least that, we should be able to guarantee that that would go for the project if we decide to move forward, because we're gonna pay for it anyway.
I don't have any problems with the outlet and that. People
This
sit behind the house for 3 or 4 months now, no problems. I mean, I know it's been cold, but
the school district will not have to attend any meetings, will not have to do any reports, will not have to file any type of paperwork. It's all in the city.
So basically at this point, Mr. Mayor, you're just asking for approval for our property, and we're not talking any funding or anything?
Yeah, I'm just saying, and you have that right. You can say that we approve the project, but we don't want to fund it. You know, or you can say.
it had to be funded before the grant was approved?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
There's 3 portions of the project. The first portion is the engineering and design of the project.
And that's already funded.
No, it's getting ready to be funded. And that would be through the city. I'm not going to ask you to do that just yet. And then the second portion is when the project goes out to bid. We pay for the construction, our 20%. And then the third portion of the project is the inspection. We have to hire an inspection firm to make sure that the trail is being built as it was designed. I won't come to you and ask you to fund the inspection.
Will or won't?
Will not. I will not. And I talked to Dr. Hammock, and there was no commitment, but currently it's being called the Hornet Greenway. I could reach out and have somebody buy the naming rights, but I haven't done that. Franciscan Alliance bought the naming rights for the Greenway Phase 1. So that's how we paid for the construction. If you want, it's Hornet Greenway coming through the high school would be appropriate. It's Hornet Greenway. But and I'll leave it up to you folks, if you want to seek a buyer of the naming rights, then you won't be on the hook for a penny.
So you're only looking, at some point, if it's approved, you would only be looking for a portion of the construction cost?
Or the design, either one, either or.
Mr. Mayor, if that property up there by the softball and baseball fields, if we do designate to put that, a bus barn there or something of that sort, is the trail conducive to be driven over, or is it conducive to the driveway sort of entry into that? I'm just trying to visualize. We've had lots of different discussions about what this property would be. If for some reason the trail goes through and is developed before the board or the school system designates the need for that property, is the trail adaptable to meet the needs of what the school would use that
Yes, they would just have to,
They have to reinforce it.
Okay.
yeah.
But they, I mean, it could be done easily. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. but
No, go ahead.
The actual trail itself, I'm guessing, is probably no more than 6 inches thick, 8 inches thick maybe. And for them to do something where the bus was coming out, I mean, that would all be completely built up. And
I just want to make sure that,
yeah, I mean,
that there's an
these trails really are, I mean, they're nice when you put a car on them.
Yeah.
Even though a couple times we've had.
You could put a-
Oh, I've walked
You could put a concrete driveway there and it'd still be part of the trail. It's
Yes.
different than Emerson Avenue.
I just wanted to be sure that we understood,
Yeah.
you know, in a meeting that we're asking questions about, that it can be adapted as
Right.
we need the school system to adapt at any point in the future.
The trail that we have right now was built. It was designed to be driven on by police cars, ambulances, and parked vehicles. And this trail, if approved, would be designed to where police cars, ambulances, and school vehicles can drive on it. So, not the bridge, there's no bridges on this one, but not the bridges on the other one.
I mean, I've walked the whole length of the new trail, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's safe, and, you know, with the nice weather driving by and having that flashing light you can push there on 9th, and how courteous the car traffic has been to let people cross, and I mean, just all the people who've been on it, it's just been incredible. So, it's a really nice, the people that have built it and created that by the creek and everything, it's just cool.
So we need a legalese, do we need a motion to approve this map?
I wasn't I didn't know how you do business. I thought, just wanted to talk about it, and if you take it up the next meeting, you know, I don't know how you do business.
That's what I had explained, that I think it's been my experience that it's always nice in a meeting to kind of present the information to you all, and then we would ask for your approval at the next meeting. Yeah, that's okay.
Any other questions? I certainly hope that you say yes to this. Forget about the funding for now. Just get the project going.
Do you
And
know the
we will
length
be-
of this trail, this particular piece? Do you know the length of it?
1.1 miles. And another thing, eventually, I would say 10 years from now, there's only one other trail in this area. It's called the Pinsey Trail. And it comes out of Ellenberger Park and comes up through Irvington. That will eventually tie to ours.
Oh, wow.
But that's way down the road. That is in the master plan for the city of Indianapolis.
6 more months, we all might be riding bikes.
I know. Right? Oh my gosh, that's the truth. Oh, man.
I was walking the trail to see if it was a reasonable way for me to get to work.
But anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
you for your time.
Okay, now, Mr. Gearhart, it's your turn.
So again, I think the third month in a row, things are really, really quiet, which is really good, knock on wood. So our guys have been knocking out some of the, pencil sharpener type work orders that tend to build up when we have heating and cooling issues and plumbing issues and those things that we don't have. This will be our first year from start to finish to kind of open up our turf field. So grounds learning how to set up nets for discus and shot put and baseball backstop pads and batting cages. So this will be their first round of doing that. And they're learning a lot in that area. As far as the softball field goes, there were some design issues with that and some drainage issues. So the visitors bullpen and a little bit of the right field has some damage to it. And that has since been rectified. Context and PSI have come out and put in put a couple of new drains in and corrected that problem. So the Moats group is coming out and is fairly confident that they can get all or most of it clean, and we'll work through that process and let you know how that comes out. I can tell you that last week I witnessed Mr. Bullock with his classes in our new greenhouse, and I think there's some plant material in there, so that's great. If you've driven through the old high school band parking lot, be careful, because you may lose your car, not just your wheel. We have several large potholes, and we've reached out to the city to invoice us to help us out and get those filled. So hopefully we'll have that. One of them's right in Hornet Park exit lane, and it's a big one. After we get done with that, I was talking to Scott Nee. The plan is for all of that, where that construction traffic has come in, that Performance, as part of their scope of work, are going to take care of that 3/4 of that parking lot. And then, once again, Performance in the work session will update you on progress. We did order furniture this week for our 4 pre-K rooms. That makes it kind of real. It's going to be on the way before long. And the last thing, Misty and I are going to meet with a company called Shaw Log Logistics. It's currently a trucking company, but I think they're exploring getting into the business of providing bus drivers because they see a real need for that. So we're going to meet with them and see what they have to offer. It's really exploratory. On the positive side of bus drivers, we've had 2 monitors that have gone through a rather lengthy process to become drivers, and they both passed their test last week. So we are up 2 drivers, and it's the first time that I think we've been fully staffed since I've been in this position. Which brings me to the motion that is on the agenda. If you all recall, when we went to 2 tiers to 3 tiers, we increased the daily rate. Well, one thing we missed in that recommendation, because we didn't have any and haven't had any since then, was a driver with 0 experience. So the closest driver we have has 3 years of experience. So Misty and I talked about the separation, and we looked at the rest of the scale and believe that $104 a day is very appropriate. It keeps us very competitive with our surrounding neighbors as a starting pay. So that's the motion that we would ask for you to approve tonight, starting pay for the driver with 0 years of experience at $104. And that's it for me.
How does that compare to those around us?
Keeps us very competitive with them on the salary.
I move that we approve the employment salary recommendations as listed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that all?
That's it.
We have a ton of fundraisers that need to be approved this time. Who'd like to make a motion to approve those? Thanks, Rob. Who'll second, please?
I'll second. April.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think anybody's opposed. And we have an overnight field trip. Very exciting.
I move that we approve the overnight field trip for our awesome basketball players. Softball and basketball. I motion to go forward for all the wonderful overnight field trips.
I still second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think there's anybody opposed to that either. And we need a motion to approve the adoption of the proposed Neola policies. Do you want to talk about those?
It took us 3 months to get there, but I appreciate you, and appreciate that, so thank you.
Thank you. And who's second? Thank you, Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we don't have any community reports or committee
Not
reports.
necessarily committee report, but legislative update is they're still in session, and things are fluidly changing every single day. They anticipate being done by Thursday, but they're not technically required to be done until next week. I'll update next month, but there were several that were a little bit controversial, but Dr. Kemick testified at one. I was watching the hearing for
So
something
funny you
else.
were watching.
And it was like a 9-hour hearing. I don't know. It lasted forever, and I had to get off. I was ready to go to a meeting, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I'm new there. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. And so I'll give an update next month when it's totally over.
You haven't heard any more rumblings about them pulling that bill back up, have you?
Well, there were several controversial ones, but I think if you're,
It was
the CRT
11:34,
is
wasn't it?
unthinkable. I don't think they're going to resurrect that language into anything else, but you never know. Last minute,
let's hope.
Paperclip, you never know.
And I have a C9 report. Do you want us to send in, I mean, I'll have a C9 report every month. I just don't know if we want to include it on the agenda or not. We are in the negotiation process to extend the contract of the executive director, Dr. Kovach. He came to the board last month with his thoughts and plans, and we countered with our thoughts and plans, and then we should be voting soon. And Thursday is Taste of C9. Are you going? I'll be there too. Very excited. This is the first one that they've had in 2 years because it's been pulled back because of COVID. They have reopened their restaurant on Friday. So if you're down in the Greenwood C9 area and you want to go to the Nines and eat lunch, they're back open again, and their food's really, really good.
Their food is good.
And then they had last week or 2 weekends ago was the big sort of trades competitions that they do, where this is the first time we've had this in 2 years. So they sort of go and do Top Chef cooking and engine assembly. They do all these really fun, exciting things. And I watched some of the videos that they posted, and the kids did great, and they had a great time. And those kids just really astound me. I mean, not only the Beech Grove kids, but all of them. We went in and we sort of got a sneak peek at what they were going to do for the cooking competition, and the instructor's like, I'm sorry, it was me and the guy from Center Grove was like, I'm sorry I don't have any Beech Grove kids here. And I go, all C9 kids are all of our kids, because it's really such a great communal experience for those kids. So, and hopefully we'll get final approval on the building situation that you guys approved last year with expanding the welding department and all of those things. As we all know, worst time in the history of forever to not decide to build something. So, but that's going on with C9.
Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
April mentioned the legislature. Is one of those bills that you're following the elimination of the business personal property tax?
It's on our mind.
Yes, it's on there.
You testified the other day, and our council passed a resolution last night opposing it because it would really hurt the city and the school.
Yeah.
So I made a copy just in case you had. So I'll leave it with staff.
Okay.
I just want to say welcome to Julie Mitzi and congratulations, Brian, on your new position. I will say this, there was a Freudian slip in our packet here that you were called Brain.
We'll call hers.
Congratulations.
He's really smart.
We are
Excited.
very excited, as you can see, right? I got to go shopping, so, yeah, very excited.
We're glad to have all four of you.
Yeah.
Before, we're glad to have you. Good people, good things moving forward.
Thank you. Anything else? Who'd like to make a motion to adjourn?
It's always Rick.
It is Rick.
It's always
I
Rick.
only took Mr. Hinman's position because he was always the one that.
He was. And who wants to second his motion?
He'd sit right here and he'd say, motion to adjourn.
You waited for that all night, didn't he? Who's going to second his motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Jill. All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.